It's 2012 and I boarded a plane from Colombia to come study abroad in Canada. It's 2021 and I graduated as an electrical engineer in Canada with English being my second language. It's 2025 and I've built a $25,000 a month business on YouTube after quitting a 9-to-5 that I hated. In this video, I'm going to share with you how I built a $25,000 a month business in Canada selling agency services and digital products while being English my second language. So if you're an immigrant that moved from your home country to USA, Canada or Europe, I'm going to share with you exactly mistakes that I wish I didn't do and lessons that I've learned along the way, so hopefully you'll be able to learn from these and build your dream business faster. Ever since I moved to Canada, I knew that I wanted to build something in this country that I would be proud of, and more specifically, I knew that I wanted to build a business. Now, if you're an immigrant like myself, you've probably had those struggles with your language. Like for instance, I remember one of those times I was at a coffee shop feeling nervous because of the fact that I didn't properly know how to order a coffee. This was something that sometimes got me a little bit of shame when I first moved to Canada. I also remember when I was in a classroom and the teacher was speaking fast, too fast for me to actually understand. And this could happen not just at school, but also like around, like outside in public, or even working a 9-to-5 that I hated. I felt like I didn't belong. And the job culture was something that I truly wasn't familiar with. Even in meetings, I remember some people that were native, like speaking up, always having like good talking points and good conversation skills, and myself kind of like a little bit more quiet because I just didn't have that same confidence to communicate myself in the workplace. Anyways, over time, this got better for me. And after living in Canada for over 10 years, I'm very confident in my ability to speak English. Like, yes, I still have an accent. People know that I am from South America, but something that I still have been able to do despite all of this, which I'm really proud of, is the life that I've built here, and more specifically, having built my own business that I grew to $25,000 a month. Now, I'm not saying these numbers to show off or show you any fancy cars or any of this stuff. I'm just saying this because it's something that has transformed my life, and if I was able to do this as an immigrant where English is my second language, I think and I know that you can do this as well, which is my goal of making this video. So hopefully if you're watching this, you can learn a little bit about my journey and lessons that I've gone along the way. So my turning point. Ever since I was little, I knew that I didn't want to work a 9-to-5 and I wanted to start my own business. I wanted to, even when I moved to Canada, build a life that I was proud of. And at the time when I first graduated university, I was tired of working a 9-to-5 that I hated. I remember just going to this work, having something here in my, inside of me, kind of in my heart, like a dread of showing up to this work. Not only was the job very unfulfilling, but I just felt like I didn't fit in, not particularly because of the culture, but just the specific coworkers. I just didn't really vibe with them or didn't get along with them. Anyways, after trying a bunch of different business models, I ended up I landed on the online world. So any business model online that you've probably heard of, I've tried. I tried trading, selling products on TikTok. I tried Facebook ads, marketing agency, all this stuff. Eventually, I landed on building websites for businesses. And my big shift here was I wanted to become very good at a specific skill and then offer my services to other businesses that would need this skill. So in my case specifically, it was web design, but I'm not advising you to do web design at all. It's just what I was doing at the time. Now, I'm not going to go into my whole story at this point. You can watch other videos in my channel if you're curious. But something that I did realize is that I didn't need perfect English in order to help others and myself make money in my own business. Now, I wanted to share with you tactically how this looks like, because you might be thinking, okay, this is cool that you've achieved this business, but how can I do this? So that's what I'm going to do in this video. The first step starts with building the beliefs that you can, as an immigrant, as somebody that has moved from a different country, build a successful business, even if English is not your first language. So this doesn't mean that from the get-go, you're 100% sure about the fact that you're going to succeed or you have full conviction. Even to this day, I'm not 100% sure, but what I am doing is building those beliefs and showing up and taking action every single day to work for that specific goal. The second step is that you need to learn a valuable skill. And when I say this, I'm meaning something that you become very good at so that other people that would need the skill, this service, this product would pay you money. So in my case, as I already mentioned, specifically, it was building websites for a business. A business, they just opened, they need a website. I would just then go to them and build a website for them. Other examples could be if you're very good with AI or coding offering your services to other people that want to learn how to use AI or want to implement AI in their business. If you know your second language, let's say you could teach other people how to speak French. If let's say French was your first language. It could also be if you're very good at taking the IELTS test, you've got a very good score. That could be a skill that you then build a business around, teaching other people, other international students, how to get successful IELTS scores. So after you have a valuable skill, that's the only prerequisite. You just need to learn something that's valuable. You then need to find a way to package this as a service or a product that other people would buy. So in my case, this looks like agency services, me actually building a website for another business or selling digital templates as well. In your case, it could be selling a service. So if you're an accountant, starting your own accounting business. If you want to teach other people how to speak French, as I already mentioned, it could be like services, like one-on-one coaching services. If you're good at taking an English test, it could be an IELTS prep course, something like that. A way to package pretty much your service, your product, so that other people can buy it from you. Now at this point, you already have a skill that you're good at that other people would pay you for, and then you have a way to package it. The last step is, of course, finding clients. And in my case, I've tried a bunch of different ways to get clients: cold calling, selling in DMs, reaching out to people, and all this stuff. What has worked for me was starting a YouTube channel and post videos about my business, which then allowed me to get clients. Now, in my case specifically, I remember calling people or even hopping on sales calls, and because I had some sort of an accent, for them, it was already kind of like something that threw them off and something that was even harder for me. So the fact that I'm now posting YouTube videos, they can see my face, they can click on different videos, and I'm building trust. So even though English is not my first language, they're still compelled to buy, which I think is something very cool and very awesome about social media and YouTube specific. The last step is, of course, you need to stay patient and consistent. And right now, because of the fact that you probably moved from somewhere else, you had to adapt, you had to, find a job, go to your studies, you've already learned how to overcome challenges. So you can use this, the fact that you did this, like all of these things that other people might be natural to them because they were born in this country. You can then use the fact that you're highly adaptable and you're consistent to take that same attitude and approach it to how you start, especially when you're first starting your business. Now I wanted to talk to you about mistakes that I've made, so hopefully you can avoid these. The first is trying a bunch of different things at once. So at a time I was trying to run ads, I was trying to start this business, I also had a 9-to-5, I was doing a bunch of different things. If you want to start a business as an ESL entrepreneur, focus is key. So just pick something, one thing at a time, a couple of things at a time, because it's going to demand a lot of your time, a lot of your effort. And if you spread yourself too thin, then you're not really gonna give yourself a fair chance at building this business. The second mistake would be is thinking that you need perfect English in order to start a business. Right now, you look at me, like I have some sort of an accent. Even I don't have the best camera skills, but I'm still recording this video showing you that if I can do it, you can definitely can. You just need to put some time, go through the reps, record a few videos, and each time you're going to get better. So don't wait for you to get a perfect English, just get started. And from there, of course, I'm not saying don't improve your English. For certainly do improve your English. Even to this point, I still want to improve it, but don't think that you need to have perfect English in order to start a business. The third thing would be wasting time chasing a bunch of different things. So again, kind of like what I already mentioned, get very focused on what you actually want. And if starting a business is something that's important for you, building something for yourself in this new country, then make sure that you put adequate focus on that specific goal of yours that you have. The last mistake that I did, and I wish I didn't do, is that I undercharged due to the fear of rejection or because I had some sort of language insecurity. So I would hop on a sales school with, let's say in my case, specific case, it's a business that wants a website, and because, I'm stumbling with my words or something like that, I would just undercharge so that I would hopefully get them to get clients. So that's something that I would definitely avoid. Now I'm way more confident in my services, what I provide, the fact that I'm somebody that can provide value for these businesses. So just making sure that you don't undercharge because of the fact that English is not perfect for you is a mistake that I would avoid, and hopefully you can avoid as well in your business. Advice for struggling and aspiring ESL entrepreneurs. Now, before I finish this video, I wanted to give you some actual pieces of advice, something that I wish I learned when I was first starting out as an ESL entrepreneur. The first, as I already mentioned, you don't need perfect English, you just need to provide value. And again, what I mean by providing value is educating people, posting content on YouTube that helps them, and then naturally that's going to help you attract clients. The second piece of advice that I have for you is that your accent, your story, where you come from is not a weakness. Sometimes we might think that, oh, because we moved to this country, the fact that we don't speak perfect English, we have a different culture, it's a disadvantage. But in fact, this is proof that you've achieved more, you've been able to adapt, and in a lot of ways, that is something that is actually an advantage. I came across this ad on Instagram where there was a fitness coach and he was from India and he was targeting Indians that moved to Canada and the US wanting to get in shape. So let's say in a market where there's already a lot of fitness coaches, he used the fact that he was Indian and that he only helped Indian clients to establish himself on social media, on YouTube and Instagram, to be able to get clients. Now, this is cool because let's say that he is already familiar with the types of food that people from India or people that come from India like. He can build meal plans around these foods, relate to them, be a little bit more of like a trust because he comes with the same background. So something that was initially a disadvantage if he was just trying to be like a coach, trying to coach everyone, because of the fact that he leaned into who he's helping, was actually something that differentiated him in the market. The next piece of advice is that you need to start, even if it's small, but just make sure that you stay consistent, again, using your story, where you come from, as your edge. That's actually not an obstacle, it's something that's going to help you stand out. Now with AI, my next piece of advice is that with AI has really bridged the gap and has really leveled the playing field. And what I mean by this is some of my YouTube scripts, and I know also people as well, that even though their English might not be as good, they just put them on ChatGPT. ChatGPT can solve some of their grammar mistakes and all this stuff. Or if you were sending an email to a potential client, you can just run it through AI, make sure that it makes sense before you send it to them, avoid spelling mistakes. So with AI, you have access to this technology. As an immigrant, you can leverage everything that's good about an immigrant, your unique background, your story, your experiences, what makes you unique. And then AI can help you, I wouldn't say like eliminate, but like kind of like mitigate what's like the challenges that you might have or what's not good about it, which is the fact that maybe sometimes you mess up grammar, which is fine, or just making sure that your client communications or when you send an email and that stuff is done properly with proper grammar. So this is a quick video about lessons that I've learned and mistakes as I moved to Canada, now having built a $25,000 a month business with English being my second language. Now that you know mistakes that I've made and the advice that I have for ESL entrepreneurs, if you're curious to know exactly how I did it, you can watch this video right here. It's the blueprint where I share exactly how I built a $0 to $25,000 a month business on YouTube.